Well, g'day fishers, welcome back to another weekly fishery report. It has certainly been a hot week, that's for sure, both in the fishing and obviously on the land with the weather at the moment. So what can we expect this weekend? Well, looking at the weather charts, tomorrow is looking really good, light northerlies, which has been pretty much consistent all week, but it does shift to the south Saturday night into Sunday, but it's not that bad, 10 to 15 knots, so not a massive southerly, but we do need southerlies this time of year every few days to push that warmer water in on the inshore, that is for sure. But it is still early season for that at the moment. So what's happening in the bay? Well, plenty happening in the bay. We just come off the back of those big new moon tides, so the tide should settle a little bit over later into the weekend, so the fishing will improve, that's for sure. If you've noticed in the bay at the moment, those big tides during the week and the northerly winds, the water is a little bit stirred up and a little bit cooler, so the back half of the bay might fish a little bit better, especially those that want to go and chase some sand whiting at this time of year, and there are plenty of good sand whiting around, even surface fishing for those sand whiting as well. So my suggestion, those flats that face to the west out of the northerlies, especially towards Taylor's Beach, up Tilligary's Creek, up towards obviously Lemon Tree there, Koala Shores, all those flats through there will have whiting on them at this time of year, and back around into Tanelba there, all those areas will have some really nice whiting. If you're in the boat, then get over towards Tarlee there, those flats entering the Cooroo River will fish really well, the same with Pindima. So any of those flats to the west of the bay will fish pretty well with whiting on the surface, that is for sure. Likewise with the bream, there's been some stonking bream this week. I spoke to Paul from Fishport Stevie's Estuary Charters. He said that bream are really active on the surface at the moment, some absolute beauties, especially over those really shallow rock banks that only have like half a foot of water over the top. Those new oyster beds over in Pindima Bay, and also that new oyster bed at the entrance of Cooroo River there that fisheries put in a couple of years ago, are definitely working really well for those bream on the surface. A few flatties kicking around them as well. So speaking of flatties, I spoke to Pete and Matt during the week. Again, they've been slaying some really nice flatties. Those Daiwa 3-inch prawns doing the trick, that is for sure. So some good flatties around. Young KO, well, he fishes every day. I think he's on holidays, unfortunately. I think his parents have dragged him on a cruise ship, so he'd be like a duck out of the water on a cruise ship, but he's been catching some good flatties this week. I think he's missed a couple of days at school, but anyway, he's doing some, what would you call it? I guess biology, fish biology. And he got a couple of really nice flatties in the bay. He's just a land-based kid, mainly down the Breakwall around the metre, but I know, a marina I should say, but I know he got a really nice flatty at 70 centimetres, some nice bream, some nice trevally, so he's fishing really well. And I think when he gets back on that cruise, look out, the fish around that marina, tell you what, they're on death watch, that's for sure. So, but he releases almost every fish that he catches. So well done, Kyo, enjoy your cruise, that's for sure. Plenty of arrow squid in the bay at the moment. I know there's arrow squid at Little Beach. There's arrow squid over towards Jimmy's Beach there. So just outside the marine park buoys there's been arrow squid on the flats down there. And also in Shoal Bay, there's been plenty of cuttlefish as well. So some good fish about there. Now, speaking of the Breakwall, there has been kings down there, but they have been extremely hard to catch, that's for sure. So if you're keen on chasing a kingy, my suggestions, and I think the tides are going to be better for this in the coming week, you're going to have to fish that first light and last light. Being the first light, the better option because there's no wind. And I think you can throw as many slapsticks, sluggos, poppers and things like that. They do work, but I think a live cuttlefish, live squid or a live slimy will do the trick down there. So you just got to put the hours in and get that good bait and away you go. That is for sure. On the Mulloway front, a little bit quieter this week with those bigger tides, but I think they'll come back in a vengeance this week, that's for sure, with a few nice Mulloway about inside the bay. Now, moving on to the beaches and the rocks. With these northerly winds, unfortunately, the beaches are coppering and hammering with redweed. They're getting that algal bloom, so you're going to have to be really picky with the beaches because there are some nice fish on the beaches. You get down Barooby there is some gutters there that are holding some really nice whiting. Some nice flatties actually, and the odd mulloway, but like I said, you're going to have to gutter hop to avoid the redweed. I know Fingal again. Fingal is a great beach at this time of year, but there's redweed there. Hopefully a little bit of southerly. I don't think it's going to be enough to clear that redweed. It's just that time of year where we get those strong nor'easters, turns the water over, makes it cold, hot days, algal blooms, and away you go. So the redweed is going to be out in force this summer, I think, this year, that's for sure. So you're just going to have to gutter hop, look at some of those quieter beaches, maybe Kingsley, But there are some really, really good whiting on the beaches at the moment. So we've got plenty of live worms in store this weekend. So definitely worth a shot of the beaches. Now at the rocks, some good water turned up earlier in the week, but it obviously got overshadowed by the nor'easters. There was a few bonito off the rocks there at 1 Mile Point and Boat Harbour, so it might be worth a shot there. A couple of reds around on the rocks as well. Wouldn't say they're big fish, 2 kilos, but good fishing off the rocks at the moment if you want to go and throw an unweighted bait in the wash as well. Now there have been some kings around the ocean rocks. I know at Boulder Bay there was a couple of fish seen, not caught, but some absolute beauties around at the moment. We'll talk about offshore in a second with some of the kings that have been caught this week. So worth a look around the rocks. Your bread and butter species is still there, your brimmy, your drummer and things like that. And luderick this time of year. So you can catch luderick all year round. The ocean rocks are the place to go this time of year, that is for sure. So worth a shot down at Cemetery Point there at Anna Bay for a few luderick if you're keen on still doing that. Definitely. So on the offshore scene, like I said, some really, really good kings around at the moment. Chris Pride absolutely nailed it, an absolute beauty. We'll do as we do every week, put our photos up. We get sent plenty of photos. Appreciate the photos. We'll put them up in a collage each week on our Instagram and Facebook. But Chris got an absolute stonker during the week. He's a big lad, but he managed to wrangle that kingy, 21 kilos, absolute fish of a lifetime if you ask me of Port Stephens. So an absolute cracker. I know he's live baiting to get that fish. Some other fish around the islands as well. Little island there I mentioned last week. And the front of Fingal as well. The front of Fingal has got some good kings around it. I've seen a couple of fish caught there during the week around about that 11 kilo mark, so worth a shot there. Has been some squid over there as well, so definitely worth a shot. Chasing a few squid around Fingal Island if you can get there. I think Sunday will be the go with that southeaster, that is for sure. So some good kings around Edith Breaker, Broughton Island, like I said, Fingal. Not sure about Rocky. Rocky's always a good place for kings this time of year down to the south, but I think the water's a little bit green down there, but definitely worth a shot. A few reds around as well, a few nice snap around in the shallows, that cooler water, that dirtier water. There has been some nice snap around. There's plenty of bait on the reefs at the moment, plenty of slimies and yakkers, so fishing's been pretty good. I spoke to the boys on Pacific Blue charters and Nelson Bay charters. They've been getting into some nice trag. So trag have turned up below the water. On the chart says 19 degrees. There are some trag on some of the reefs there if you want to give that a shot as well. Now on the offshore, there were a couple of striped marlin caught during the week and last weekend. But looking at the charts, we've had a current shift again. So it is that time of year. You cannot pick the currents. The currents will stop, go again, stop, go again. And with those northerlies, it rolls that water over. But there is a little bit of good water around about that 32.50 mark. It's about 23.8 degrees, but there is 2 knots of current in it. Could be worth a look for a marlin with that southerly. Like I said, last weekend there was a couple of stripes caught, some dolphin fish there, so it might be worth a shot. There were some dolphin fish on the fad, but like I said, that water changes daily with these nor'easters. So one day they'll be there, one day they're not. So it is just early season. I did get asked a few times about inshore black marlin. I think it's going to be a little bit early. I think this season's going to be a little bit later. I think, last year it was early January. I think you're probably looking at February this year, or at least late January before we see any action on the inshore, but it will happen, that's for sure. Mark my words. So that's it for this week. Enjoy your weekend. It's going to be a cracking weekend to get out there fishing. We've got heaps of Christmas stock. If you need a Christmas present, you just want a new rod and reel, we've got plenty in stock at the moment. We are chockers. Anyway, talk next week.